I want to talk about the government funding deadline because it's coming up on November 17th. What is your strategy to keep the government from shutting down, and what are you going to tell your colleagues tonight?
Well, certainly what I'm going to tell them is we've got to work more days than just 2 that we have on the calendar for the rest of the time we have allotted here. But we're going to have to work more days, and we're going to have to look at a calendar of what that schedule looks like. We're going to have to talk about getting Department of Defense conferenced and getting it passed to send a message not only to the Middle East but to the rest of the world that our military is in full force and full support of the Congress and the White House. That needs to be done. We need to get with the Rules Committee to get the appropriation bills that have passed out of committee, get those on the floor, either in a combined rule, get them passed, get them out and start doing the open amendments, get the appropriators to get the last 2 bills that are being held up right now by Republicans, which is Labor H and CJS, to get those out and see what we can get done between now and by the November 17th deadline.
You want to pass individual appropriations bills and get them conferenced before November 17th?
Well, we're going to do all we can to get it done, so at least we have what we're going to do. You're never going to take shutdown off the table. It's not my negotiating, but I'm not going to take all the tools off the table for any speaker, whether it's me or anybody else. They need to have all the levers to push on the Senate, who is always kind of slow about getting things done. Although now the Senate is actually working on some minibuses, which is great. I've been meeting with some of those folks. And I think right now what's going on around the world, people are getting a little nervous that we're having so many fights in Washington, D.C. We need to put our strength back on the table.
So would you support putting a short-term spending bill on the floor to avoid a government shutdown? Because it's only a couple of weeks until November 17th.
I would, but not right now. We're going to do our work first, and then we'll look at a CR as we get closer.
What about for the fuller one-year spending bill? What is the plan there?
Well, certainly, again, we'll get appropriation done and see what the Senate wants to do. We know if it goes beyond April 1st, we have a 1% cut automatically kick in. The problem with that has an extraordinary high number just based on the baseline that's going to cut defense. We do not need to be cutting defense right now. In fact, some would argue that it needs to be even more with all the assets we need to move around the world, stay in the Mediterranean. Certainly what's going on right now in South China Sea, what's going on around Taiwan. We're looking to see if China's going to try to make a move in our weakness. There's just a lot going on right now. And so right now we need to be pushing to get those done. I know my bill, or my process would be liable somewhere between Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. I wouldn't want to go immediately to a CR and working under that. Right now I think what you're going to see is that everybody's going to be acceptable for the most part to mark to the FRA levels, which is $1.586 trillion on the appropriation bills, and move and get all the appropriation bills done as quickly as possible.